Alright, so I don't usually do these face tube videos or U-plants or, whatever they are, but I've been trying to get some reviews on this Ravencrest tactical knife system here for a while, and I didn't really see anything online, so I thought I'd put something on there and stick it out there in Retardville, and if anyone wanted to review it or take a look and see what they were getting into, they could. So I did one of those customize your own out of the front knife, OTF. They often call them rocket blades or whatever people call them, I don't know. So I got one, and the first thing I noticed online is they had a ton of options, but I picked what I wanted, and then I got a call, and they said, oh, we don't have this, and then I got a call, we don't have that. So what they have online isn't necessarily what's available. They have to update their website and blah, blah, blah. But from the time I ordered it to the time I got it was less than a week. So it was a good turnaround, and it's, $250 knife or whatever it cost. So it came in this box, right? This standard kind of thing. Box with some, silicone gels you can feed your kids if you want to. They're probably delicious. There was, the thing. It came with. I ordered it with a specific Stars and Stripes clip, but for whatever reason they sent me one as well that was, whatever this says, Ravencrest Tactical. It's their regular thing, and there was one here, another Ravencrest Tactical, whatever. So it came with these. Don't know why, whatever. Came with this pouch thing. It came inside the pouch wrapped in plastic. It was delivered nicely. They probably could have used a smaller package and put it in my mailbox instead of putting this tiny package that you can see here inside of a huge box and then throwing that on the ground. I guess, from delivery standpoint, I would have just wrapped this sucker up and stuffed it on my mailbox, but they decided to put it in a box that they could have shipped a refrigerator in. Whatever, So, came with this, the clip to attach this to your belt is tiny. You can't have a good 1.5 or 2-inch gun belt connected to. The release to get into this thing is, whatever. So it's just it's a piece of shit pouch. Came with a nice knife, whatever it is. There it is. That's not what the review is. No. So the knife. The overall fit and finish of this knife, as delivered, it didn't have all the options I wanted. What I actually wanted was, it's got the red glass breaker there. It's got the red ejection and retraction switch, and you'll see 6 screws on the back. I actually wanted those in red too. After all the final stuff I went through, and they didn't have them. They said, call me in a couple of months, we'll ship them to you, blah, 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 whatever. So this is a knife. I have gigantic, oh, by the way, I don't know what this is for, but the goddamn thing came with a container of Skittles. I don't know what that means. I ain't gonna eat them, but it came with Skittles. So the knife itself, it's actually fairly weighty. It's kind of heavy. I like that, as a matter of fact, in this particular knife. The overall weight of this knife, if you notice that little cut right there, I just weighed it a second time because I forgot. It's 9 ounces. It's beefy, but it's a big blade. It's a big knife as far as weight goes. It feels good in my palm, closed up, and if I shake this thing, whatever, there's not a rattle to be heard. The fit and polish of this handle is absolutely fantastic. In my hand, I can see that this would make a great little, jabber in someone. You can come across, use it for a weighted punch. In and of itself, it's a nice little. It can be a nice little defensive tool. It's got the glass breaker there. It's a good solid for what I thought I was going to get. The handle on this knife, how it's put together is fantastic. Now let's talk about the trigger right here. Okay, this switch is going to eject or retract the blade. It's not a light switch. Okay, this is well over 6 pounds for this. I've tried to, with multiple things with some of my tackle, my fishing gear to use this. This isn't just going to willy-nilly eject in your pocket if you carry it without this ridiculous case that they send you. So the switch itself is really nice. It's fast. It retracts fast. It feels good. There's no play in this in any direction when I try to fiddle around with it. So this is, if you're clipping this appropriately into your pocket, then it will fit nice. It rides nice and low so that this thing isn't digging into your side or in your pants. So it carries very comfortably just as it is. And the blade ejection and retraction, it's really smooth. Your infant child isn't going to get a hold of this and retract it. But any normal human being who's not autistic or who's not liberal, they'll be able to figure out how to eject this knife. Okay, so with anything, if you've got little ones, children, old parents, liberals, whatever, living in your house, and millennials, just keep this away from them because they'll hurt themselves at some point, right? Whether they swallow the whole thing or try to put it in their bum, whatever it is, liberals, millennials, Democrats, keep this away from them. But it's solid, and it's a good safe switch if you want to carry it on in your pocket. Now, I wondered to myself, what happens if this does go off in your pocket? Or what happens if this does go off if is this like some kind of a magic missile Russian rocket blade where you can put it in someone's back and it'll eject and carve their heart out and their head will explode and, whatever liberals are going to hate about this. So the ejection, it actually doesn't eject with that much power. I ejected this against the packaging and it didn't really make a mark. I've ejected this in my pocket and it did cut my pant pocket a tiny bit, but it didn't cut my leg. And then I ejected it directly into my hand, and I did get a little bit of a wound. It probably would have gone in, I would say, maybe, where am I at here? It probably went in a couple of millimeters, maybe 2-3 millimeters tops. So if you're sticking this directly into your skin and ejecting it, it's not going to not hurt you, but it's not going to mortally wound you. It certainly won't cause any extreme damage. It wouldn't even get through denim pants. I put this into a cooked egg, and it did go about a 1/2 inch into a cooked egg, so I wouldn't try ejecting this directly into your eyeball. But other than that, I mean, unless you're autistic or a millennial, there's, you can't really hurt yourself with this, which is nice. It's relatively safe. It's not just going to go off. It's not just going to decide to wake up in the middle of the night and fly about the room and kill all your children. It's whatever liberals think it's not going to do. So it's relatively nice. But again, this is for an adult. This isn't for a child. This isn't a gift for your 10-year-old. This is, if you're skilled in firearms and you're skilled in using alternative means of knife work and such like that, then you should be able to handle this, and it's nice and safe. Now, so far everything's been positive, but now I want to kind of get into the blade itself, and then it's going to get a couple of dings. So this blade comes in all sorts of configurations. You can get it. This is a spear tip, dual serrated. You can get a flat blade. You can get a Tonto knife. You can get a Tonto serrated. You can get a full Tonto serrated. There's a million different combinations you can get. They didn't offer this blade with both sides fully serrated. You could get one side fully serrated or both sides half serrated, but not both sides fully serrated like I actually would have wanted. But you can get a Tonto knife, all different kinds of colors. You can get yellow, red, pink, whatever makes your little fanny happy, you can get. Now, when I look at the blade itself, it's kind of thick. It's much thicker than I would have expected it to be if this were a folding knife or if this were a fixed blade. The other thing I've noticed is that once it's out, I don't know if you can hear this, but it's actually got quite a bit of wiggle. And I can touch the blade and it's got quite a bit of travel to it. So when this blade is ejected, it's got quite a bit of move to it, more than I would actually feel comfortable with. Probably not too much of a hindrance to the overall functionality of the blade, but if you're going to pop it off and put it into something quickly, I can see that the give that this would offer for how it's seated could be a problem. That's probably the weakest thing about the blade. I mean, you can hear it flapping around like that. So, the how the blade functions fully extended it's a little awkward. Just, that flexibility, that rattle that's going on in there. I would have preferred this to have a little bit more tight of a fit, especially given the overall price of the blade. I mentioned the thickness of it. It's cut as you would expect. The serrations are on one side and they stop off at the other. That's typical for most serrated knives. It's got this hollowed out fuller through the middle of it, but this isn't sharpened on the inside. For the money I would have expected for this blade to be sharp on those inside edges, so that if you do a full thrust, you'd get some extra cutting from those grooves in that fuller, but that's okay. And I probably would have wanted the fuller to extend, haul it out all the way up just to make it a little lighter. Now, the blade itself, that when I got this, really wasn't that sharp. I would have expected the blade to be sharpened a whole lot more. And if you look at it, there's some parts of the blade that just have a rough finish around the edge. Let's see here. Alright, so you can see, like, along the blade as I move this about. So like right there at the tip, it's just the grind is off. You can look at the point and it's kind of rounded and not full. The whole overall sharpening process that they use it's pretty poor. So you can see that right there, how it's sharpened, but then again it's not at the edge there. Overall it looks nice, but it's just, I'm going to have to take a stone to this for a little while and really get a good blade on the end of it. I don't know if that's just because they create them stamped or how it's done. It's certainly not rolled on the edges, but it's just, for what I was expecting in a blade, it lacks in overall fit and finish on the edge. Alright, so the final words on this out of the front Ravencrest tactical pig sticker. The fit and finish on the handle is fantastic. The operation is great. The choices that you get on the web line are online when you buy it are limited, although you won't know it at the time because they haven't updated the website. The big hitch I have is how loose the blade is once it's actually extended within the knife. And then the fit and finish of the blade itself, I just would have expected better, but it's okay, and it's much better than a lot of the out of the front knives I had. So I hope this helps in your decision-making process if you go to buy one of these, and good luck.